Hey, that's great. Welcome to episode number 225 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and technology with us geeks on tour. While we're at it, if you like this, click the bell, subscribe to us on YouTube, and like us on Facebook. We have a quick tip here.
Yeah, we always like to start by just diving in and teaching something. And since our episode today is about podcasts, here is a quick tip about how
Hi,
to
this is
find
Chris
podcasts.
Gold, and today I want to talk about podcasts, how to find and listen to podcasts. It all started with the iPod, the music listening device from Apple. After a while, people started making talk shows, and there came the name podcast. Now you probably listen on your iPhone and you use the podcast app. That one right there. So podcasts, and you have to learn to use the menus on it, but you can just browse through different topics. And if you're looking for a particular podcast, you can use the search. If I want to find our friend Keith's podcast called Behind the Veil, and when I tap search, there are actually quite a few Behind the Veils, but there, I see his right there, Keith, and I can listen to the latest episode. I also have a friend with a podcast that I don't know the name of the podcast, but I know his name, so I can just type in Martin Brossman and search, and there he is right there. Or you can search for a topic, so RV travel, and there's lots of them. As I scroll down there's the one by another friend of ours, Mike Wendland. You say, well, but I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. The Apple Podcast app might not work on Android, but there are tons of podcast apps that do. This is just a small sample. These also work on the Apple. Now, the one I use is the Google app called Podcasts. And you can do the same thing. You can explore. I can search for Behind the Veil, and there's lots of them, but there is the wedding one by our friend Keith, or I can search for Martin Brossman and see his, or I can search for RV travel, and there is the one by Mike Wendland. Using the app, you can do things like subscribe. Then you can get notified every time there's a new episode. But what if you're on a computer? Well, even on a Windows and Windows 11 machine, you can get the granddaddy iTunes app. And in addition to listening to music on iTunes, you can click right here and go to podcasts. And same thing, you can search or subscribe to podcasts right here. There's also Amazon Music. And in addition to music, there are podcasts. And you can search and you can subscribe here. But then don't forget about just the basic way of finding anything that's on the internet, and that's with the Google search. If I search for Keith Willard Behind the Veil, notice that the first thing that comes up, though, is YouTube. So his podcast starts out as a live stream on YouTube, and then here are the listings of all the podcasts.
I admit that I don't know a whole lot about the podcast apps because I do it the lazy way. Play the latest episode of Behind the Veil podcast.
Getting Behind the Veil from Amazon Music. Here's Season 2, Episode 46. Co-hosts look back at the year and get real about this year.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Veil, a show that provides insight into...
That's easy.
Today, we're going to go...
Well, great. All right. Good job, Chris. That's a great tip.
That is just fun. I really, I wondered, why don't I know much more about podcast apps? And then I realized that I just ask our Amazon Echo to play whatever I want,
Wow.
and I get it. So, but podcasting has just exploded. So I'm thrilled to have our guest today to talk about it.
Okay. So where are we now, Chris?
Aren't you going to say who?
Oh,
Didn't you skip something?
I think I did. I'm sorry.
we do the same thing all the time. So
Hi, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour, and we can prove it because we wear these funny hats. Another word for a geek is a propeller head, and we are geeks and on tour. So that's why we do these things. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your iPhone or your iPad and your Android tablets? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks, propeller heads, who teach, and we believe that the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we came up with this regular YouTube show. And all of our content is collected on our website, geeksontour.com. You can just click the menu for YouTube show and see the links to all 200, and this is 25.
225. Cool. All right, now we're here. Where are we?
The on tour part is we're usually traveling, but we are home right now, and we have lots of holiday cheer thanks to our neighbor Keith, who is our guest today. This is a picture of the front of his place, which is right next door, and he has brought an event to our neighborhood and makes us feel a little bit like Christmas.
Okay, I do want to say hi to our live members here and the folks that are watching right now. Let's see. Tech for Senior. Hey, Ron. Chris Rosinski. Detlef, how are you? Good evening. He must be in Germany. Tom Parks. Debbie Diver. You'll see her a little bit in our video. And Bill and Karen. Okay. Is it cold up there, Chuck? I'm glad I'm not in New Jersey. Okay, Jan.
Wow. Sue Hepler, good to see you.
All right. And Michael Daniels. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right.
Okay, so Michael says he watches YouTube videos all the time. Okay. And you can...
I also want to say a special thank you to our premium members, those who pay for some of this stuff, premium members. It makes this possible, and that's why we do all of this. You can join yourself, geeksontour.com/join now. And a great benefit of membership is our backstage pass. After this show, we'll have a Zoom meeting for us and our regular members, and we can answer any other questions or just talk. All right. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. All right. And now let's see. Meet Keith.
So let's meet Keith.
All right.
His website is keithwillardevents.com. If you're planning any kind of event in the South Florida area, he's your guy.
All right. He's an award-winning event planner and international speaker and president of the National Association for Catering and Events in the Greater Broward and Palm Beaches. He's the host of Behind the Veil podcast, on YouTube and iTunes.
And he's our neighbor.
All right.
Thank you, Keith, for joining us today. And thank you for giving us some Christmas spirit out there.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Well, and I was laughing at that photo because it's only about like 25% of the entire light show that we've got going on over there.
Well,
so I was like,
it was supposed to be an animated GIF, and I actually grabbed some video from it, but we didn't get there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And and it's so weird because as a host of a podcast, I'm so used to doing what you do on the other side. So it actually caught me a little off guard because I actually started blushing a little bit because I'm like, really? Okay, all right, award-winning international speaker. I guess it's true, but I just never wrote those words down. And I should also point out that I am now the immediate past president of NACE as of 2 days ago.
Oh,
Yes,
congratulations.
I know. 3 years ahead of that organization, and I am so glad it's done. Yeah, so I've passed it on to a whole new group of people that are going to do amazing things with it. But that was my job, is to
for 3 years.
Yeah, to be its
That's a long
caretaker,
time.
Well, originally it was supposed to be a 1 year, and because of the pandemic, I volunteered to stay on and keep it going through the pandemic because, of course, it's a event organization, and all events shut down here in South Florida March 13th of 2020, and that meant membership also dried up. And so I'm happy to say that membership is on the way back up, and we stayed financially solvent through the entire crisis. So I am very proud of my team and my board. So congratulations, South Florida NACE. You guys did it.
All right. Well,
Good
give
job.
us a little bit of background. I mean, describe what is an event planner and how long have you been doing it? How'd you get into it?
Well, okay, so it's random. I guess I feel like I've always been meant to be doing this. Do you guys remember the Jerry Lewis telethon?
Sure.
Yeah.
Every Labor Day.
Every Labor Day. And you remember that they used to give the kids a milk carton that you put a penny in? I bet you
No.
don't. I remember. Okay. So that kind of gives you my age. Anyway, so they used to give kids milk cartons and they would collect pennies. And then when the Jerry Lewis telethon would happen, you would turn those milk cartons that were full of pennies into the main office. And that was part of their fundraising drive. And so in order to do that, I was constantly lemonade stands, like decorating people's like yards for Halloween, like all of that. And so it just started building because that's really what events are, is, creating something. And then when I got
never would have guessed. That's how you got started.
Right. And then of course in high school was part of the the events council. And then when I got into college, I was part of the traditions council. And then I was the executive director of a small nonprofit in Dallas. And of course, one of the major ways to raise money is to throw a party and charge money at the door. And so that was a big part of our funding, which was a really important piece. And it was at that one of my last fundraisers that I had a gentleman named Russell Holloway with Feature Presentations. Unfortunately, Russell's no longer with us, but he was a massive mentor of mine. And he had a huge event company that traveled all over the world. And so within a week, I was in London at Madame Tussauds putting on a dinner for Nokia executives. And it was such a massive learning curve. And it really changed the trajectory of my life. And I can never thank him enough.
Wow. And I think maybe you still enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Of course. I love it. I mean, this is my passion. One of the things is that I used to do a lot of corporate events, but I find myself drawn more and more to social events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, anniversaries, those kind of things, things that make a difference in people's lives. Corporate events are great because, you get to do something with somebody else's money that probably nobody else has ever done. But social events mean something to people. And it pulls on the heartstrings. It enhances love. It enhances the experience. It adds to the memory. And so I find myself, as I get older, to be more focused on life-changing events.
Huh. I was trying to think of what kind of events we or our audience participate in. I mean, most of us are past the marrying age.
Yeah.
But we certainly like to have parties. But the one kind of event that we attend several times a year is an RV rally.
I love that.
I wonder how you could improve the RV rallies. That's where it's like a convention,
Yeah.
but you don't need a hotel. You just need a big parking lot. Everybody brings their own hotel room.
Well, it's funny you say that because my mom is now an RVer. And so she was talking about RV rallies. So she just got back from somewhere in North Florida, I think, that like a month or two ago that we had a big RV rally going on. And, you know, I always wanted to do, and because my brain always thinks in events, I actually wanted to do kind of like a drive through like haunted house or even a drive through Whoville as an entrance to the rally, because I think that would be just kind of cool, you know.
That would be.
So,
That would be fun, yes.
it would definitely set it apart. But yeah.
All right. So then, you know, tell us, what was 2020 COVID shutdown like for you? And how did you come up with doing a podcast?
You need a drink for that one.
I know. I was like, let me wet my whistle there. So, you know, when March 13th happened, it was a devastating loss for everybody. Most of our business here in South Florida is based on tourist industry. And so when you have a good 30% of the population that completely depends on the tourist industry for all of their revenue, and then all of a sudden you 100% shut down that tourist industry, which includes weddings, events, hotels, etc., you find a lot of people immediately at a loss. Add to that we, not only my own personal business was suffering dramatically. I also had, you know, brides whose dreams had been just dashed like overnight and had zero idea of what to expect or what was going to happen or what was anybody planning. And I knew that I needed to do something, anything, just to start getting answers out there. Because if I'm lost, I knew everybody else would be lost as well. And so the first one was actually just a Zoom call. I had like 5 other planners, well-respected planners here in South Florida, and we were all on a Zoom call talking about the state of affairs, right? Just a very direct conversation about what we're facing, what things had happened, and what are some of the opportunities that they were using in order to help alleviate some of the pressure that was happening to our couples. And we also asked for questions. And so it went out on Facebook, because Zoom can go out on Facebook. And the questions ended up being broader than I could have ever expected. I mean, I thought I would get questions like force majeure, cancellation policies, bank loans, etc. It's anything. But then it was mental health issues. It was estate planning. It was lawyers, contract negotiations. I mean, it just kept growing and growing. And so we decided to do it again the following week. Same time, Tuesdays at 2. And again, had different event planners on, had a whole different slew of questions, whole different slew of answers. And it was then that my husband actually said, you know, this is something you may want to rename it, because I think I called it like Zoom with planners or something. It was not very catchy, you know. And so he actually came up with a name. It was called Behind the Veil. He said, you know, because that's what you're doing. You're going behind the veil. And so then we started branching out our guest list. And so we invited psychologists on to talk about mental health and the pandemic and how people can deal with it, both as a bride or a couple and as an event planner. And then I think we had Christine Gill. God, that's 2 years ago.
Were you still on Zoom at this point?
Yeah, still on Zoom, because and probably much like a lot of your audience, I had never done a podcast. I'm like, what the hell's a podcast? I mean, I was laughing because you talked about the old iTunes on your video, and I'm like, that's what I used to do. That doesn't mean I'm old. I'm like not looking at it through my app. I'm doing it through my computer. And so of course it was again a learning curve. And so it was trial and error in many instances, trial and error. And then somebody told me about Streamyard. So I use the same platform that you guys use. Mm-hmm. And then I converted everything to Streamyard. And then all of a sudden I realized that I could push out to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time. What? Game changer, right? Game changer. So we continued. So the graphics got better. The guests continue to become more varied. We had Megan Ely with OFD Consulting, which is one of the major wedding PR agencies in the country. We had the co-owner of All Seated, which is a technology firm that's based on building floor plans that instantly turn it into 3D models for event planners all over the world. We had, God, name it. We had
Wow.
owners of Ritz-Carlton. It was amazing. The people came out of the woodwork. It was fantastic.
But when most people think of a podcast, they think of audio only.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it just putting one foot in front of the other that led you to doing it video first because of Zoom, or did you have a specific intention in the beginning to be video?
That's weird. The thing is because we had been using Zoom for meetings. And so I think everybody did the same thing. We had to immediately kind of reevaluate everything that we had been doing, because as event planners, we typically liked to meet in person, but now we couldn't. So Zoom became a part of our everyday life. So it seemed to be something very simple for me to take on as an instrument. And then because we were already doing video, and because most of our audience was watching us through Facebook, I needed a platform that could also continue to push out via Facebook, so that anybody that had been watching us for the previous couple of weeks or previous month could still watch us. But the nice thing is that StreamYard also allowed us to download the lost my brain.
The audio.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, download the show into an MP3 format, which is audio, and that could be easily uploaded to Buzzsprout, which is my platform for the podcast.
And then Buzzsprout takes care of getting it listed on all the others? Is that how that works? No?
I wish. Oh my God. Yeah. I wish.
Okay.
Actually, no. So here's the thing is that about Buzzsprout. It's a great platform for somebody that's just beginning. And I did basically what everybody else would do. I Googled what is a great first platform for somebody that's never done a podcast before. What's the easiest platform for somebody that is getting into podcasting to start with? And Buzzsprout came up multiple times in multiple articles. And they also do something called magical mastering, I think is what they call it. And so basically it takes out all the peaks and valleys of the volume and kind of brings it into a linear fashion, so it's a little easier to listen to. And then it gets rid of some of the background noise automatically. So it takes less. I don't actually have to do anything in order to publish it. It just does it automatically, and then it sends it out. Now, when it comes to getting on these different platforms, you do have to reach out to them and write a description. You have to have at least 2 or 3 episodes on Buzzsprout, and then they're evaluated, and you never know when they're going to put you on it. And then all of a sudden I was like, and all of a sudden I would get a message that iTunes accepted your podcast request. And then the big one was Amazon, because I actually applied to Amazon like 2 years ago, and about a year ago, or I guess even 8 months ago, we got notice that they approved our podcast, which is why you can now listen to it through Alexa. Which by the way, I found that so cool that you did that, because I was like, I had never seen anybody else do it. I was like, what? Okay, that's amazing. I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
that's so cool.
Be careful saying that word around.
Saying that name, it sets everybody's off. You noticed in the video, I silenced my audio of the word
funny.
and just put it in print.
Okay, well, we'll call her Amnesia. So Amnesia was amazing. I was like, what? We're on Amnesia. Anyway, so and that was a big thing. And the other thing about podcasts is that you have to be consistent. It's not easy getting on here week after week after week, because no matter what you do in your life, there's going to be a little bit of your personal life that comes across. So, because we've been in such a crazy couple of years, thanks to COVID, our emotions have been up and down. We've been really good interviewers. We've been really bad interviewers. We've cried live because our shows are always live, and I never edit them. That was part of the premise when we first started, is that we were going to be live, we're going to be real, and we're never going to edit, because I wanted people to see what was happening and to get a little idea that they're not alone, right? Because everybody was depressed, everybody was sad, nobody knew what to do. And so when you see somebody else on the air and you see them start to cry because we're talking about finances or we're talking about mental health, it goes a long way to say, I don't feel so alone anymore. And so that was part of it the whole time.
Huh. We've been doing this YouTube show. We never have tried to get listed on any podcast because we do a lot of visual, things that you have to see. So we've never considered it, and I'm still not going to. But we've been doing it since 2014.
You really should. You could reach a whole different audience. I have to tell you, I did the same thing. I thought, we're a visual company. I mean, as event planners, what do? Flower arrangements, lighting, visual stuff. But what I found is, and this happened about September of last year. Gosh, September of last year. It's hard to fathom that we've been doing this this long. So September of last year, we would get probably 500, 600, 800 people watching the show every week. And we thought we're, look at us kind of thing. And I felt like we were doing some good. But I also thought, okay, is it worth really continuing this? Because it is a lot of work week after week. New guests, new content, being live. It takes time to do these shows. It takes time to do the research. And my two co-hosts, Marcy Gutenberg with An Affair to Remember by Marcy and Brooke Logan Stoner, I had talked to both of them. And Marcy said, I cannot tell you how much I enjoy our weekly show, because it really gives me something to look forward to, especially when there's so little to look forward to at the moment. So it was kind of guilted into keeping it going.
But that's changed now. I know that, since everything opened back up again, there is a flood of people wanting to have a wedding and do events, right? So I'm wondering how committed are you to continuing doing every week?
I am. I'm going to continue doing the show as long as people will have me, because we went from 800 people to 20,000 people watching us. And that was a real eye opener. I
noticed you're now number 8 on that list of top wedding podcasts that you said you were number 10 at.
And now ahead of David Tutera. What? That kills me. I was like, what? He's a TV personality and we're ahead of him. Oh my God. Love that.
And he's our neighbor.
Well, and the thing is, I love the fact that you guys have sponsorships, because we still do not. I've had people ask.
We do not have any sponsors.
Oh, you don't?
We have paid members, premium.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We have a membership
website.
Yeah. Oh, so much better. Yeah. Oh, so much better. Because I was actually saying, one of the reasons that we haven't allowed a sponsor to be part of the show is because we still want the interviews to be honest, straightforward, and without any sway in the background. I want to be able to ask the questions that I need to ask. And, we never try to make our guests feel uncomfortable. That's not our job. It's a lighthearted show, but we do want honest answers, and we don't want a sales job. I don't want somebody coming on and talking about their product and saying, oh my God, you are going to really love Allseated because it does everything. And for, $199, I don't want to hear that. And by the way, let me just say, Sandy from Allseated did not do that. She was incredible, and they talked about everything that they were doing to help the event industry, and even her software engineers jumped on the call to look over Streamyard because they loved the format so much that they wanted to join the call to see what it was like. So it was cool. It was cool. Yeah.
Well, that is a perfect segue to I do have a 7-minute tutorial video on just the basics of using StreamYard. So I think we're going to play that now, and then we will come back and talk to Keith some more. So think of your questions. Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and in this video I'm going to show you just the very basics of doing a live stream to YouTube using our favorite tool, StreamYard. So to use StreamYard to do live streaming, all you need is a computer and an internet connection. You go to the website. It's strictly web-based, streamyard.com. You do need to have an account. I'm going to use my free account under my name. And isn't this interesting? You don't have a password. You get a login code. I go to my email, get the login code, go back to StreamYard and paste that in. Now, the next step is to create a broadcast. Create a broadcast, a new broadcast. And I want to go to a YouTube channel. And with my account, but I am an admin on the Geeks on Tour YouTube channel, and that's where this will be streaming to. If you get a paid for account, you can stream to more than one channel at a time. So, create broadcast. Now, create broadcast is different from going live. We're having to create the stage, if you will, and you get to check your camera and your microphone before you do it. Put in your name and enter studio. And I am the host of this live stream, which will be going out to the YouTube channel when I click go live. Now, why not just use YouTube to go live? Because StreamYard has such wonderful features, especially for things like inviting a guest. I am going to invite a guest. You click this invite here. I'm going to invite my friend Debbie Bradford, who is in California. I am in Florida. I just copy the link. And she does not have to have a StreamYard account, nothing. All she will need to do is click this link, which I will send her in an email. I'm also going to invite Jim, and then I just wait for them to show up. So there's Jim.
That's cool.
So I see that he's here, but I'm not hearing him. And what you do is to add to stream. So I need to click his face. Click my face. Say hi, Jim.
Hi. Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
All right. All right. So now we're just waiting for Debbie to join us. So there she is. There's Debbie. And I just click on her little face to add to stream. And now we have 3. Hi.
Hey, it's cold here. I got to wear my winter hat.
Now, one of the cool things about StreamYard is all I have to do is click these buttons down here to change the layout, depending on who should be the most important. Should I be the most important, or should Debbie be the most important? I just drag her picture over, or should Jim be the most important? Oh, that's right. It's Dazzle should be the most important.
It's Dazzle, but it's mirrored, so I'm not sure where to point. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Now, one thing, have you ever used StreamYard before, Debbie?
No,
No.
I never even heard of it.
So all you did was click the link that I sent you, and here you are. That is
Actually,
just so cool.
I had to grant microphone and camera access, but that's no big deal.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and go live, and then we can just chat a little bit about this. So I click the button that says go live, and now it is able for anybody to watch. You are live, able for anybody to watch on our YouTube channel. And so what we are using here is StreamYard, and I have recorded my screen in getting it set up. The coolest thing. And here, let me go back to there. That's just so fun, just to click those buttons, and we get
And you can drag them around too to reorder them.
Yeah.
Yeah, drag me around.
It's
that.
just so easy. And to start this, I have a free account. You just go to StreamYard.com, sign in and say, I want to do a broadcast. And then you can invite guests. And I sent you an invite, Debbie, and just while we're live here, explain how that worked for you.
Yeah, I got the email. I clicked the link. It was super easy. It popped right up. It didn't even have the lag time that Zoom has in trying to open that. And then it just wanted access to microphone and camera. And then it asked for my display name. And that was it. It was a lot quicker than Zoom. But
so if you get a comment, you just click on it to show it, and it shows up on the main screen so that you can involve your viewing audience as well. But if you want to learn more, I'm going to create a banner that will tell you where to go. And it's Tinkering with Tech.net to learn more about StreamYard. And just like anything else, all I have to do is click to have that show up.
there it is.
Yeah. All right, there's Jim back again. Then I can just end the broadcast, but the three of us that are in the meeting can still, no, not a meeting, that are in the studio.
Yeah.
We are in the studio. We'll still be able to talk to each other, but I am going to end the live broadcast. All you do is click the big red button that says End Broadcast. For you to leave, you just click
I do, yeah.
Leave studio.
Yep.
Yep.
I do see it. All right. We'll see you
Bye.
next time.
Bye,
I'll see you
Dazzle.
someday online. Bye-bye.
Okay, I am in love with Debbie Diver. I'm just saying. I'm in love with Debbie Diver.
Well,
Oh my
she'll
God.
be here this summer.
She is what a sweetie. And oh my God, the dog. Oh my God. I just loved her. She was so cool. And by the way,
All right,
you taught me a few
Debbie's
things.
here.
I know, but you taught me a few things. Actually, I was sitting there and I was like, you can drag the pictures around. I've been using this software for over a year and I didn't know you could drag the pictures around. So look at that. I learned something. So thank you very much, because now that's going to make my life so much easier. Because what I would do is I would remove the person from the live stream and bring them back in to put them in the lower position, when I could have just easily just dragged them.
Okay.
So much better, so much
And
smoother.
so many things are so. Did you agree that it was drop dead easy to get started?
Oh, it was so easy. And the thing is, I was trying to remember, like, why did I even pick StreamYard in the beginning? And not only, and it was because I was actually doing, so randomly, I called bingo for a local community center for like 12 years. And
Really?
I know, one of my little hidden talents, one of those well known, but we called
you
it.
would be so popular at RV resorts.
Well, I and it was dirty bingo, actually, because we told lots of dirty jokes.
Even
and,
better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have like literally stacks of dirty jokes and so, nothing like 200, older folk having a great time. So it was awesome. But then when the COVID hit, somebody else was using StreamYard and invited me to call bingo every week as a fundraiser for another not-for-profit on StreamYard. And that's actually how I got introduced to it. And I loved it. And it's so easy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So did you notice the comment that just got put up?
Debbie used to live right here around the corner.
Oh my God. See, I love that. What a small world.
Yep. We
fact,
so
what?
often use the gazebo at the lakeshore for photo ops, and she got married there.
Oh, that's
as
so
I
cool.
recall.
One of her marriages, anyway.
One time.
I'm gonna. I wasn't involved in either one, so don't blame me. No, but one of the things that you had asked me about before when we were talking on the sidewalk a bit ago was that this was a technology based podcast and our video cast. And that's one of the things that I think that has really been a game changer in the event industry is technology, because before, again, we used to do a lot of face-to-face. We used to do a lot of hand-drawn pictures, etc. When we were thinking about like how we were going to design a room. A lot of color swatches, paper color swatches, again, in person. And then one of the things miraculously that actually happened during COVID is that, again, Zoom calls became a big thing. File sharing became a big thing. Online platforms, like there's now a company called Rock Paper Coin that does an amazing job of invoicing, follow-up, and payment all through one platform. And then I mentioned All Seated before, and that's an online software program that allows you to build diagrams. And it has basically almost every building in its database. So you just click the building, it will pull up 3 of the ballrooms. Let's say they have 3 ballrooms. You click the ballroom that you're going to use, and now all of a sudden you have an in-scale diagram online. Amazing. Again, it was a game changer. So technology has done huge things for the event planning world and has really allowed us to come back quickly, and probably too quickly at this point.
Technology has affected every industry, and it accelerated because of COVID. I wonder if you're going to start planning events in the metaverse. Jim has a virtual reality headset.
Yeah.
And I hear him talking, and I know he's not on the phone. I see his phone there. He's meeting up with people in the metaverse.
Is he really?
It's bizarre. It really is.
No, I'm saying he has the goggles on, so you can't really see what he's saying. I mean, he could just put it on and be talking. It's,
Yeah, I could be.
But
you'll never know.
I mean, and what is he really watching on those screens? I'm just saying, as an outsider. But you're absolutely right. Actually, All Seated did a huge conference online, and they actually built a whole platform that allowed you to be a little person, and you could walk through a conference and speak directly to other people, and like literally walk up to the other person, and then all of a sudden you're in a one-on-one chat.
That's the deal.
It was incredible.
Cool.
I mean, wow. I mean, and none of that technology probably would have been, as part of daily lives if it hadn't been for COVID. So as much as I hate COVID, and as much as I feel like it devastated our community and continues to do so, out of any type of issue or any type of roadblocks that humanity seems to hit, regardless of how sad it is, we also are amazing at invention and figuring out how to make life continue. And this is a huge proving point just in the last 2 years. We didn't let COVID stop us. We just said, let's figure it out.
So
and I love that.
Here's a comment. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Making money with your podcast? It doesn't sound like you even try.
No. I mean, it was never about making money. Really wasn't. And it still isn't. I don't see it as, it's funny. It's like everybody around me seems to say that, and I don't. It's always meant to be informative. It was about providing answers at the very beginning for people that were lost, brides that were lost, event planners that were lost, hotels that were lost, and needed a way to hear what other people were doing, because obviously your circle is actually fairly small when you start talking about phone calls. But if you start doing a weekly podcast or weekly video cast, it gives you a much broader idea. So it's, I can't imagine why I would do that. I mean, if anything, if it supplemented it and allowed us to broaden it, great. But I don't see it becoming a profit piece. Yeah.
But then do you have any way to know how it has increased your business?
I don't actually. It's weird though. It's interesting because, and I'm sure this happens to y'all as well. Randomly, somebody will be like, "Oh, I watch you," and you're like, it always catches you a little off guard. Like, oh shoot, somebody's actually watching this on the other side. Okay, and so that happens. But typically, my clients typically come from referral base from other clients that have been clients of mine, or off of the Knot or the Wedding Wire or Google, not usually off of Behind the Veil, because Behind the Veil is focused on other people, not us. So we're not selling our own businesses, because like my co-host owns an invitation company. We rarely talk about that. I own an event company. We rarely talk about that. We really try to focus on the guest.
Okay. Okay. So maybe you've increased some of their business too.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, I started my life in the world of not-for-profit, and there's still that little bit, of me in there that says, do good, do more, take less kind of thing. And I just feel like it's good karma. And I wish more people would think that way.
Well, and everything is about relationship, right? And you're building relationships in doing this podcast, especially the video part of it. Well, I have just a couple more slides, and then we'll wrap it up. But let me give you the last word. Is there anything that you think people should know, about podcasting?
Don't be afraid to be yourself. Nobody, don't become don't become something that you think people want to watch. Be yourself. It's easier to make that happen long term, and you'll be shocked at how many people actually want to watch you as a person and hear your opinions and your questions and or thoughts. Something I learned early on, and it's something that we practice to this day. And then the fact that the show won a telly, which is, and I'm looking at it, I forget what it is, but it's best online unscripted series, great. And then the NACE, National Association of Catering Events, gave us Innovator of the Year because of what we did for the event industry during COVID. So that was kind of cool. I mean, I have to tell you, I do love looking at my telly. I mean, it's like having an Oscar. It's like, I never thought I would have something like that, but it's cool.
All right. Well, like I say, I got a couple more slides.
All right.
And just FYI, Keith, we have in our audience right now, Michael Daniels, who is his website is Tinkering with Tech. And he is one of the original users of StreamYard. He is on their advisory board or something like that. And he has a ton of tutorial videos. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, and anybody else. I mean, it is super, super simple to get started, but then there's a lot more you can do with it as you keep learning. So the next slide just does talk about the pricing of StreamYard. I mean, as we said, there is a free version, and you can, live stream with StreamYard is easy. All you need is a computer or a mobile device. You can go live using StreamYard with your phone. You just go to streamyard.com. You do need internet access. That's a biggie. You need a good internet access, and you need a free StreamYard account. Then to get started, you just log into streamyard.com, create the broadcast to YouTube or to Facebook or to LinkedIn. With the free account, you can go to any one of those. With the paid for account, you can go to multiple. Then you invite guests and you go live. And we already showed that video. So now here, in the free version, and this, you can just go to streamyard.com and look this up for yourself if you're interested. But I just wanted to show it here. And make sure to learn more about StreamYard with Michael Daniels. And he has a membership kind of like we do. Notice that for the free version, you can stream anywhere, but only to one. And there are some limits. The basic version, you can have 10 on-screen participants, and you can multi-stream to 3 locations. Okay. You can look that up anytime you want. And next, streaming to YouTube. We just assume that everybody knows about streaming to YouTube, but I just wanted to make a couple of comments. You must have a Google account, a YouTube channel. It's super simple. The first time you log into YouTube and you want to upload or go live, it'll say, you need a channel, click here. And to go live, you need to validate a phone number. and it takes 24 hours. And then how to go live, you can just go to YouTube and go live. But what does not it offer? You can't bring in guests. You can't put comments on. You can't put those banners up, etc., etc. So, were there any other questions we should look
good
at
question.
before?
Let's look at comments. And while we're doing that, I want to remind everybody about the Backstage Pass for premium members. It's an online meeting with Zoom right after this show, about 3 o'clock, and get a link from an email that Chris sends out, or you can go to our website, geeksontour.com, member login.
And I know that you got in really late last night, Keith, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to join us, but will you?
Oh, I'm always happy to, of course. Well, and one thing, by the way, one of the things that I wanted to remind, add to this, all the benefits of StreamYard is that, and one thing that we've discovered completely by accident is that if my connection breaks and I have my co-host on, the show continues. It continues to broadcast, which is amazing, because then if you have guests on, they can still continue to have a conversation while I have to reboot and do what I need and come back into it. So
Excellent
It's
point.
not unknown. That's for
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
Okay, then we
Let's
always end with some review questions.
Okay.
So we have questions for you guys.
All right. Did you learn something? I know I did.
I'll just go ahead and answer them.
True or false? You can go live on YouTube for free using the YouTube website.
True, you can.
All right. To live stream with StreamYard, you need A, computer or mobile device, B, internet connection, C, a free account, D, lots of time to learn it.
You need A, B, and C. I don't think you need much time to learn it because it is just so easy to get started.
Okay, advantages of using free StreamYard to go live include A, inviting guests, B, displaying comments, C, can you choose Facebook or LinkedIn instead of YouTube, or D, all of the above?
D, all of the above. So if you already have a presence on Facebook, you don't have to live stream to YouTube. You can do it to Facebook.
Okay, a podcast is A, audio only, B, audio or video, or C, anything that's listed in that podcast directory.
Well, I say C. It's always been audio only, and this is a controversial subject, actually. But it is changing. Even, what is it? Spotify just bought Anchor, which was a very popular podcasting platform, and they have just announced that they are having video podcasts on Spotify. So it's changing.
Yeah, how about that? Okay.
There's one more.
One more. True or false? Only iPhones have a podcast app.
False, false, false. There are so many podcast apps.
Okay, we may be old dogs, but we do know a few tricks and we can teach you. Sign up for our free newsletters. Members get a 2021 edition of Chris's book, Learn Google Photos, among other books that are in there. Become a premium member, subscribe to this channel, like us on Facebook, all of those other things. Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our YouTube shows?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is YouTube show. All 225 are there.
Good. And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news. You'll find newsletters under there. There's a monthly newsletter for the last 16 years.
Okay, and why do people pay $60 a year to join?
Well, they get to ask us questions on our Q&A page. They get the Backstage Pass, where they can ask any more, access to hundreds of the Show Me videos, written notes of these button shows, and a lot of people join just to say thank you for everything we do for free.
Okay.
And we thank you.
And that's what makes it possible. Become a member. Do it today. geeksontour.com/join now, or give it as a Christmas gift to yourself. Come to the Backstage Pass, and we will see you sometime soon. Oh, Michael says I can use my mobile device out in the middle of nowhere with no internet.
Well, but only recording mode, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
can't go live
Not
with
without
no
the internet.
But yeah, we are planning to go to Central America in January, and we won't be doing our standard button shows, but we hope to go live with our mobile device as long as we can find some internet. And if not, okay, we will do it and record it.
Right. Or something. Okay. Well, that's it for us. Let's say goodbye to Keith, and thank you so much for being here with us and joining.
It was awesome. I really had a good time. And by the way, I have done the show live in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean 3 times now using nothing but my iPhone, and it has all of the same capabilities that your computer has. So it's kind of incredible. Of course, you get a lot of this because you're reaching up to your iPhone, but but it works, and it works beautifully. And the other thing I was going to say is that if somebody's wanting to do a podcast, please invest into a microphone. I think sound quality is going to be a big deal when all you're doing is listening. When you're watching somebody, your senses are all in play. But when you just stick in your earphones, it's amazing what you hear. And so like feedback, background noise, especially if people have their speaker on, you'll hear your own comments coming back to you, and it gets recorded. So one of the things that we learned converting it to a podcast is that we had to listen to every show and make sure that we didn't have any random feedback in the background. So, learn as you go.
On the cruise ship was good enough.
Yeah. Right.
It's getting better all the time too.
We haven't been on a cruise ship in many years, and it was not good then.
Well, now they're cities, so now they have parks and carousels, and and actually, I don't know if people know, on Royal Caribbean, there's the guy that basically retired and does all of his work, Super Dan or something like that. Anyway, we met him on one of our cruises like 2 cruises ago. And he does all of his work, and all he does is live on a cruise ship year round. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's my life. That's my life.
Day.
I want that
One
life.
day,
I want that life. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much. It was
We
great
really
fun.
appreciate you.
And we'll see you outside.
All right. I'll see you outside.
We'll send the link to the Zoom. Too.
I did already
Okay.
send you a link
All
to
right.
the Zoom. If
Oh.
you can join us just for a little bit, that would be great.
Absolutely. Of course.
Okay.
See you in a few. I'm looking through just to make sure I got it. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a few, guys. Thank you so much. This is fun. I had such a good time. Thank you so much.
Good.
Bye-bye. All right. Very cool. That's it for us. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on